What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode here on the Captain's Corner. Today is October 7th, 2022, and we got episode 12 here for you. Open season, NHL season is finally here. Super excited about that. It's going to be a lot of fun. A little bit of weird layout this year for it, but before we get into that, just going to talk a couple things for the podcast, and then we'll get right into the episode discussing the news. So don't forget to follow the socials, Caps Corner Pod. They're always on the screen and linked down below. Anything helps. Trying to grow those. Any tips you guys have, what kind of content you want to see on there would go a long way to helping me too. So definitely go ahead and comment. Let me know what you guys want to see. I've been posting on Twitter and Instagram. Haven't really broken into the TikTok yet. See how that goes. Definitely going to try to. It's just so time consuming trying to get everything up and running, trying to keep track of news, a lot going on. So trying to build a schedule for it. I built a schedule on when I'm recording episodes. So now it's just trying to figure out how I'm going to do the website, how I'm going to do this, that. So a lot of things to plan out. As you guys can tell, we still don't have any intro or outro music. So let me know what you guys want. If you have any ideas for that, definitely want to start getting those in for the episodes to have a little thing at the start and the end. Nothing too long, just something quick. But if you have any ideas, let me know. We're going to do that in the next couple episodes here. But yeah, that's what's going on today. Like I said, episode 12, open season. Season starts today, 2 p.m. If you're listening to this Friday morning. There's a 2 p.m. game today in the Czech Republic. If you're listening after 2 p.m., there's a game Saturday at 2 p.m. And then if you're listening after Saturday, there's games on Tuesday. So NHL is full swing. We'll get into the full breakdown of opening day. But yeah, that's really what's going on. So excited for it to be back. Started watching a couple preseason games, really following it, and can't wait for the season to start. I live here in the States, so I'll be able to watch a majority of the games through ESPN Plus and those ways, and TNT. I know there's some games I do not get if they're on Hulu, I believe, or NHL Network. I don't get. And then Sabre, since I'm in Buffalo, I don't get any in-market Sabres games, but we do have MSG. That's how we have to watch them, which sucks. Having you can't watch on ESPN. I wish they had an option for that. So I can't watch any in-market games here. So gotta pull them up on MSG, which is kind of more of a headache because I have to stream it through the laptop and stuff, MSG, but whatever. But I do have Sabres half-season tickets, so I will be attending quite a few of their games and trying to work this podcast around that too on when I record, because I do record Thursday nights. So there are quite a few Thursday night games, so those might be switched around or do some card casts, like what Elliot does in 32 Thoughts. Do some card casts, like driving to work with no video, just kind of like headphones in and just talking about it, trying to get an episode out there. So it might not be the best quality sound, but hope it's a good quality episode for you guys, content wise. So that's what we have planned coming up. But yeah, let's get right into it. Opening day. It's finally here. NHL Network, 2 p.m. Sharks versus the Predators. Both teams play back-to-back days. So they play both on the 8th exact time, 8 p.m. So both games will be streamed on NHL Network. So I don't know if I'll be able to watch them because of work. Maybe Saturday I'll try to stream it. But I'll definitely watch your recaps so I can get some feedback for you guys. But yeah, it's here. I don't know. It's weird how they're doing it. There's still preseason games being played. It's not like, NHL opening day. It's like Tuesday is going to feel more like the opening day, in my opinion, because preseason will be over. We got 2 games on Tuesday. We got the Tampa Bay Lightning at the New York Rangers, and then the late game, Vegas at the Los Angeles Kings. So definitely a little bit better of a schedule there. Late games. It's weird that they're doing opening day. Like, if they were going to do like the first regular season game, they should have done it the Saturday 2:00, Sunday 2:00, so people can watch. Like, everyone works Friday 2 p.m. Like, I don't know. It's definitely a weird time to have it for the NHL. I know they love these global series. Like, it's a good concept, but it's just not the right timing. You got preseason games going on. It's just weird. It kind of blends in with the preseason, in my opinion. It's definitely weird, but should be a good game. Sharks are coming off a bad season. Moved on to some guys, got some weird contracts. A lot of young players are going to be playing this year. Don't picture them being a playoff team. And then the Preds are looking to rebound after last year. They had a tough playoffs. They lost their goalie for the playoffs, UC Saros, who was, in my opinion, the second best goalie behind Andre Vasilevsky. I know that's a hot take there, but that's my opinion. So they lost him for the playoffs, so they're looking to bounce back this year and see what they can do. They kept most of their roster together. They added Ryan McDonough. So definitely a team that's going to be good again. Like, I don't picture them taking a step back. They got the goaltending, they got the defense, they got the goal scoring if they can keep Matt Duchene and them scoring. So definitely a team that will be fun to watch. So they played twice. Cody Glass, who I've been a fan of since he played in juniors, broke into the lineup finally. Cool video, actually, saw on TikTok or no Twitter, I think. Of, like, the GM like saying like, "Hey, you're making the trip. You made the initial like roster," and he was just tearing up because like, yeah, he's had a tough go of it. Still a young player, still lots of opportunity for him. So, but excited to see him get a chance here. But yeah, so the Global Series both days, so those will be fun to watch, see how good the hockey is, and we'll get into those picks later. The rest of North America starts on Tuesday. Obviously, like I said, that's the 11th. Tampa Bay, the Rangers, Vegas, LA. So those are the games on Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, we have quite a few more games. We got Columbus at Carolina, Toronto at Montreal, Boston at Washington, Chicago at Colorado, Seattle at Anaheim, Vancouver at Edmonton. Then Thursday, I will be at the game. We got Ottawa at Buffalo, New Jersey at Philly, Arizona at Pittsburgh, Florida at the Islanders, Washington at Toronto, so back-to-back for Toronto, New York at Minnesota, Dallas at Nashville. So Nashville's coming off the trip, right back into it on Thursday. Colorado at Calgary, Chicago at Vegas, and Seattle at Los Angeles. So that's kind of our first full slate of games there. And then we roll into the first Saturday where there's a ton of games, and we'll get into more of those on next Friday. We'll preview that whole weekend, have a lot of fun with that. So those are the upcoming games we got. So super excited for next week. That's when it's going to feel a lot more like hockey season to me, and I'm super excited about that. Next up, though, we got done deal, Matt Barzal. Well, done deal. Let's get into it. Done deal. Jason Robertson signed. That's the big headline there. The 23-year-old forward for Dallas finally signed his contract. So he will be playing for the team. It's a 4-year deal at $7.75 million, which is kind of lower than I thought it'd be. Obviously, the years aren't there, and he still will be an RFA at the end of the 2026-27 season. So 4 years away, he'll still be an RFA. So Dallas will control the rights, so that's probably their mindset there. That's a good deal for Dallas. You got a young kid that for 4 years on good page compared to the other contracts. Now, it's if you can keep them there. Honestly, I think if they keep regressing, they're going to lose him. I think either he'll demand a trade or he'll just want a ton of money and they won't be able to pay him, and he'll want out. So, but this is another deal that could come back and bite them, though, if the cap keeps going up, which it's projected to be. 4 years from now, he keeps producing at the rate he is. Maybe he's looking at, with the way contracts are going, 8 years, $10 million contract, which is crazy, but it's possible. Especially with the deal that just came out, too. Matt Barzal, the New York Islanders forward, the 25-year-old, 8 years, $9.15 million. That is ridiculous. That guy is making more than some guys that put way more points in him. It's crazy to me. $73 million total. $73,200,000 total. Starts in 2023, 2024, and goes all the way to 2030, 2031 season. And after year one, it has a modified no trade clause where I believe he has to submit 10-team lists. I have to definitely double check on that. Don't quote me on that, but there is a modified no trade clause. That's crazy to me. There's guys that were in the paydays last week that I think are way more deserving. Like he definitely an overpay in my opinion. Islanders, for a team that's strapped on cap space, they're even more strapped now, so which is going to make it tough on them. And who knows what's going to happen with the Islanders? They're an aging team, lots of high contracts. Going to be tough for them. Going to be very, very tough. Don't like the contract. Do you like the player? I would picture him more like a $7.5 million range. 9.125 is so high for a guy like that. I don't know. He's not a superstar in my opinion, but I'm also not an Islanders fan. So Islanders fans have their opinions. A lot of them like the deal, which is good for them. But I'm on the other end of it where I think it's a bit of an overpay. But if they like it, they like it. It's their team. So, but yeah, so those are the couple deals that got done. Obviously, Jason Robertson's the big one there. So he's back at practice. He will be playing with the team, getting him ramped up to play in the regular season. So he shouldn't miss any games, which is good for the Dallas Stars because they definitely need him. He's their first line forward. And with the other guys they're paying, they're going to need the help. But yeah, then into some other news, which isn't like great for the sport of hockey. Hockey Canada, obviously, a lot of scandals going on there, and like a lot of scrutiny going down for how they handle these sexual assault allegations. I don't know all the details, so don't quote me. I'm going to be very vague on this, so please don't get mad. I'm obviously not on the Hockey Canada side here. This is a bad look for them. This is not how you handle these situations, and especially with how today the world works nowadays. You can't do this stuff. Like, you can't do this. So I don't know all the details. This was I'm just going to do a broad study of this, so don't get so they're under scrutiny for their sexual allegations of players and how they handled players that were on the teams in 2003 and 2018. And apparently they had a part in covering it up and concealing it. And they apparently, according to sources, they use money from their fees that they obviously make fees from all these teams throughout the country. They pay a fee to Hockey Canada, like $3 a player, and they make all that money. So if you think about that, there's thousands of hockey players in Ontario. So $3 a player is going to Hockey Canada to help pay for that, help them like run the organization, and then helps. And yeah, apparently they're using those fees to help conceal sexual allegations against these players, to keep it hush-hush because it happened on Hockey Canada's time. They don't want that coming out. Obviously, that's a bad look. People are calling for the resignation of leadership, which I agree. And we'll get into some solutions I think will come about this, in my opinion, because this can't happen. This is terrible look on the sport. Like, you can't do this. Like, these players they have to be. They can't be covered up. This is ridiculous. Like, if these players did it, they need to face justice on it. So that's my opinion on it. But yeah, basically, so what's happened now is Quebec and Nova Scotia have said they're going to stop their fee transfers, so they will not be paying Hockey Canada their $3 fee or whatever it is per player to Hockey Canada. Ontario asked Hockey Canada to not collect a fee either. They said that they haven't officially came out and say we're not going to pay the fee, but they've asked Hockey Canada, so they want to keep their Hockey Canada ship, I guess. I don't even know what it's called, association, but they don't want the Hockey Canada to collect a fee from them till they figure this stuff out. And then on top of that, Tim Hortons, Scotiabank, and Canadian Tire are the first ones to pull their sponsorships from Hockey Canada. So those are big names that sponsor these. Hockey Canada sponsor the teams. They help them out. They help the organizations. They help the junior teams. So that's a huge deal there. A lot of money they're losing. So Hockey Canada is going to run out of money, and they have to address these. So I think they have a meeting this week, a phone meeting this week, a phone meeting next week. Then they have an official board meeting October 15th, I want to say, in person to discuss changes. Who knows what's going to come about that. Just a couple things I was thinking about, like what happens next with this. Like, do they rebrand? Like, do they clear house? Like, everyone's asking. Do they clear house and keep the name? Do they clear house and completely rebrand? Which is, I think, is the best move. Or do they just switch to, and do they just basically cancel Team Canada, Hockey Canada, and go with a new organization? Do they start from scratch, build it from the ground up, and all new staff, all new leadership? It's not associated with Hockey Canada. That's the way I could see them going, but who knows? But one thing for sure is they do need to clear house. They need to get rid of the people that were covering this up. That's so unacceptable. It's crazy in this day and age. Like, you're gonna cover that up? Like, come on, dude. Like, that's insane. But yeah, so that's I don't know what's gonna happen. Be interesting to see what happens. Are they able to save themselves here? Are they able to keep Hockey Canada going? Is it basically just gonna be? I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, is there gonna be a new Team Canada thing that pops up, or Canadian hockey, or I don't know, what's going to happen about it, but something has to change. And obviously, these props to these sponsorships, these companies, these provinces for stepping up and standing up against it and just not rolling with it and being like, oh, we need to go with Team Hockey Canada here, because they send our guys to the World Juniors. They help us out. So good for them for sticking up. And we'll see what comes about that, and we'll definitely keep you guys up to date on that. And then obviously next we got some quick hits here before we get into some roster moves. Released from their PTOs was for Calgary. We had Sonny Milano and Cody Eakin got released. So both guys, I think they'll get picked up by a team, maybe be a fringe roster guy, like a team of space. I could see Arizona, team of space, or I don't even know. So Sonny Milano, Cody Eakin were released from their PTOs. Jake Virtanen was released from Edmonton from his PTO. Danny DeKaiser from Vancouver was released, and James Neal from Columbus. And then next up, we got some roster moves here. Obviously, a lot of guys have been sent down. Most teams were pretty close to all teams have their lineup set. Kind of just gonna ramble through some names here and see what happens. What you guys think? There's a lot of guys sent out into the minors. Obviously, just gonna roll through it. Malcolm Subban for the Sabres. Marcus Bjork for Columbus. I'm just looking here. I don't even know. A lot of these guys they're AHL guys. No, Trey Caggiula for Pittsburgh. Alex Nylander for Pittsburgh, a guy that still hasn't broken into the NHL, really. He's bounced around a couple teams. Dustin Tokarski, Cole Lynn, Max McCormick, Gustav Olsson, all for Seattle. Will Bitton for St. Louis. Daniel Sprong was called up for Seattle, but I think he went back down. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just really reading through the list here because there's so many. Obviously, in the season, we'll be able to keep track of it a little better. But at the beginning of the season, there's just so many. I'm trying to look for notable names here. This is a terrible podcast. Michael DiPietro was sent down. Wyatt Kalanick. William Lockwood, all for Vancouver. Vegas sent down Michael. Oh, these guys were all called up. I think they were all called back down, though. Jamison Reese was sent down. Malt Stromwall. Oh, I don't even know. Connor Kerouac for Boston. Oscar Steen for Boston. So a lot of names, a lot of roster moves, all via cap friendly. Great place to check that all out if you guys want to see. There's really, I can't find any crazy names. Obviously Corey Snyder was sent down too for the Islanders, a guy that hasn't really been able to stay in the league. But that's that. And finally, so that's my quick hits for the week. Really not tons for this today. Obviously we'll have more next week with injuries, updates, stuff like that for the first week of the season. And before we wrap up the episode, we got our first segment of the season, Caps Picks. This is going to be our gambling corner for every week. And so, obviously, we're not going to go too far because not all the odds are out. But we're going to take a couple picks here. We are going to take the boost. These all odds are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, too. That's where I get all my odds. So, they will vary depending on what sportsbook you use. But I do use FanDuel. I'm going to take the boost for opening night. Philip Forsberg, Matt Duchene, and Timo Meier to score either of them to score the first goal. So it was boosted from 320 to 500. So I took that. And then I'm going to take Preds minus 1.5 for opening night. I like their team. I like their goaltending. And that's going to be my opening night pick. I'm not going to touch game 2 off a back-to-back first night. Don't know what goaltenders are playing, so I'm not going to touch it. And then next week, obviously, we will get into more of the games, and we will have a lot more picks for you guys, which is a lot of fun. So I can't wait for that. So those are my picks for the week, the Boost and Nashville minus 1.5. But that's all I got for you guys for episode 12. Hockey's back, fellas and ladies. If you listen to this, props if you do. I'm excited. Grow this audience. Follow us on socials. And we will catch you in the next episode, guys. Can't wait to talk more hockey with you. Peace. Have a good one.